Why I feel that people, because you're the one that's paying $500,000 on the wedding. No problem. You want to spend, spend. I don't have to pay for this craziness. I'm sorry. So be very wise not to spend the money that you have. If you have money, credit card, ladies, is not free money. I know ladies think that credit card is something that you can give it again. But it costs 18 to 26% return every year. Minimum. I will make it simple. If you spend $10,000, you have to pay at the end of the year another $1,800, another $2,000 extra. If you spend $20,000, you have to pay $3,500, meaning $350 extra every month. So our parents had this method. Only in our generation, we live off credit. Our parents, they had money, they spent. They had no money, they didn't spend. This is the method and the attitude of our parents. Today, nobody needs money. Nobody even cares money. Everything is credit card. I mean, a lot of respect to these ideas. It's a brilliant idea. But at the same time, somebody make a lot of money on you. So just be very careful not to bring the situation to be intense. Because in order to have love and respect in the house, you have to know the rule. And the rule is you need to have, Moshe, how do you call it? Menuchat HaNefesh. Menuchat HaNefesh meaning you don't have to go to yoga classes. Today I'm going to teach you with one advice, and it's not easy, how to get to peace of mind. Business put us in pressure. Children put us in pressure. Health put us in pressure. Stock put us in pressure. What else? Life put us in pressure. Rabbi, what's the secret? You can go to yoga all day long. In that 1 hour that you're going to do, you're going to be relaxed. Hour later, you're going to get cooked. It doesn't help. So what exactly we have to do in order to have Menuchat HaNefesh? Because the most important items in our life is to have peace of mind. In Hebrew, repeat after me, Menuchat HaNefesh. When your soul is relaxed. Not when the body is relaxed. Sleeping 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours will not help you to get peace of mind. Yes, you're going to be a little more relaxed. But if you worry, if you have anxiety attack, sleeping is not going to help you. So what do you need to know in order to have Menuchat HaNefesh? And the only way to have Shalom Bayit, the only way to have healthy marriage, the only way to have healthy life is to have peace of mind. Gabriel, what does the person need to have in order to have peace of mind? Listen to this. Yaakov Avinu, this week parasha, introduce Yaakov Avinu coming back to Egypt, and he's going to meet his own son. He didn't see his son for how many years? 23 years. Do you know what it means not to see your own child? Ladies, if I'm going to ask you if your child will go to Israel for 1 year, all day long on the phones, you're going to travel twice in that year to Israel just to see him, and you're going to call him back for 1 year. And when he's going to return in the airport, balloons, you're waiting for him with tears, with emotion. 1 year. 23 years. What's the first word that Yaakov Avinu is saying after he did Shema Yisrael? What's the first word? You know what he said? Amuta apam. Achare reuti et panecha. Now I can die. Now that I see you, I can go in peace. I can rest in peace, Lord. This is what Yaakov said, God forbid. Emmanuel, is any logic? I mean, what's the question that you're going to ask me? Daniel, what's the question you're going to ask me? Ask me the questions. What's the question that's coming right away in your mind when you hear that? Yaakov Avinu is seeing his own child after 23 years. What did he say? Now I can die. What's the questions? The question.
Why die now, not to spend time with his
Spend time with him. Why you want to die now?
I don't know who's your husband. But your husband is a lucky man. No doubt your husband is a lucky man. May God give you and your husband a long and healthy and a happy life.
Amen.
שערי אורה, שערי ברכה, שערי פרנסה, שערי שלום בית, שערי דוד שן גנוזים, שערי גודי רבי שנים טובות, שערי חינוך ילדים, שערי אהבה ואחווה שערי בשורות טובות, שערי ישועות, שערי עושר ועושר הגדיים, שערי תורה, שערי קדושה. לכן יהיה רצון ונאמר אמן. So I realized that the Rabbi become very large and his blessing when he blessed this moment. The Rabbi said beautiful. She said the question is, logic-wise, Yaakov was supposed to say, God extend my life. I just lost 23 years of my life. Now is the time to live longer. Please God, can you make my life much longer? At least like Abraham Avinu, 175 years. Or even Yitzchak, 180 years. God, give me a long life. What did he say? Now I can die. Everybody bothered with these questions. Listen to the answer. And the answer is brilliant answer. A beautiful method to our life. When I was saying, listen to this. You know why Yaakov Avinu said, now I can die? Until then, he was afraid to die. Because he was afraid to go to Gehenna. Why that Yaakov Avinu would be afraid to go to Gehenna? Put in tefillin, keep in kashrut. Our father Yaakov study all day long Torah. The most righteous. Why Yaakov Avinu? You know why? Because for 23 years, he was sad. Depression, you can be as religious that you can be. If you have depression issue, if you are sad and upset all day long, even if the reason is the right reasons, even if the reason is right, somebody embarrassed you, somebody put post against you, somebody literally stole from you money and he doesn't pay you. And I'm not talking about small money. $50,000, the only money that you save after 2 years, you give it to your friend for 2 months. 2 months. And you know how the friend is, Chudachat, I will pay you back. When our community tell you Chudachat, you can do Kaddish to the money. Chudachat doesn't mean I'm going to pay you. Chudachat meaning with God's help, it's going to take 20 years until I'm going to pay you. Now, you give it the money for 2 months, it doesn't pay you. You own the only money that you have. Can you be happy in this moment? Let's be honest. Yaakov Avinu was not sad for no reason. He was sad because his own child, the child that he loved so much, disappeared for 23 years. He's no body to bury. He's no grave to cry. At least when you have a grave, you're coming in and you're crying. There's no grave and no body. How do you want him to be happy? Do you know what exactly happened in these 23 years? The word Ammonai. In the last 3 weeks Parshiot, for 3 weeks the name of God doesn't mention in the weekly parasha. Because if you are upset, I have nothing to do with you. God have nothing to do with the person that is sad. You know what brings happiness? Do you know what brings Shekhinah? Do you know what brings happiness? When people sit down and meal, and they eat, and they sing, and they create happiness. Happiness brings the presence of God. Now that he was happy, now that he came back, and he saw Yosef, said, now I can rest in peace. Now I know I'm going to Gan Eden. Yes, indeed. I was keeping Shabbat, keeping Kashrut, went to the mikveh 80 times, having Kabbalistic kavanot, like this, praying half an hour, every tefillah, it's all good. Wake up in the nets to have shiur Torah, it's all nice. But if you are sad and upset, God have nothing to do with you. The only way to get to Gan Eden, the only way to get to Olam Haba, is if you're happy. Menuchat HaNefesh. So how do you get Menuchat HaNefesh? You know how you get Menuchat HaNefesh? Having a faith in the Almighty God. Emunah and bitachon. When you have faith and trust that nothing happened to you, happened for you. And everything that happened in your life is for your benefits. And it's for your good. And God will never do anything bad to hurt you. God is your father. So the guy that took your money, you actually have to call them and say, thank you very much. I don't know why, maybe I was supposed to die. And because you took the money, God extend my years another 50 or 100 years from now. So because of this 50,000, I'm going to have a long life. Maybe this 50,000 will come in the right moment. And when I need it, and then I'm going to open business that I'm going to become millionaires. Maybe, who know what? But nothing bad happened. And you are Yaakov Avinu. You are our father. You are upset over the loss of yourself. What do you feel that God is making mistakes? I don't understand. Yosef HaTzadik went down. The only person that was supposed to be upset is Yosef. His own brothers tried to kill him. They threw him into the pit. They sold him to Arabs. He's going into Egypt and being honest and faithful. He's not cheating, and his boss wife What's the thank you? They send him to the jail for 13 years. 13 years in the jail, unreal. And he's sitting down in the jail. What exactly, Yosef? He see two Arabs, depressed. He come to them and said, why are you depressed? Can I help you in anything? They looked at him and said, this guy is not real. You're the only Jew in this jail. And you're asking us why we're depressed? You're here for no reason. Why are you not depressed? How? What's the secret? Yosef said, what did Yosef tell the brothers? לא אתם מכרתם אותי. לא אתם שלחתם אותי הנה. My dear brothers, do you know why I'm not upset with you? Do you know why I don't want to revenge? Because I know the secret of life, and the secret is, you didn't send me here. You didn't try. It was only a plan of God for me to come here and to become the most powerful Jew in the world history. Just Yosef had the patience to wait and to see the hand of God. Most of us have zero patience. We lost a little money, we get cuckoo. Rabbi, what bad things happen to good people? I have Einer, I have Negra. Rabbi, can you make ashes? Can you find me a tzaddik to bless me with this? No, God is wrong. God is wrong. It cannot happen to me. It cannot. I'm a good man. I'm keeping Shabbat. I'm doing this. What is Yosef a tzaddik also? Yosef a tzaddik is Yosef a tzaddik. He's much greater from you guys. No offense. He's the only one in the Torah that's called tzaddik. Noach and Yosef. Two people only. And he's the tzaddik. And he never said, God, why are you doing bad? It's bad things happen to good people. Why he, why that? He never had them. What Yosef is doing? Smiling all day long. And singing song of אמונה. אילו יהודי היה יודע כמה חשובה אמונה. If a Jew just know how important it is to have a faith, he will sing all day long. He will sing to Hashem and bless Hashem for every obstacle that he has. Then you will never have any. I went one time to the hospital, if you remember, 3 years ago, and something good happened. I mean, I'm waking up, not so well yet. Hopefully God will not need to wake me once again. But I went to the hospital. Twice happened to me, twice. One time when my father lost his own eyes. My father, before a few years before he passed away, my father had a very, very strong diabetes. And having diabetes, you know, the two places of the body, the doctor is here, the two places of the body that diabetes touch right away is the legs and the eyes. Maybe one day you can explain why these two organs in the body. You're losing vision, and you put your legs in danger to be, you know, running. Now, my father lost both of them. 90% of one leg, and he became blind. One eye is completely, the other eye was balagan. But one eye. Now, to talk about your father is always emotional. So I went in, and I was that time I was a rabbi in the Syrian community, and I started to search for a doctor. One of my students is the owner of children's place. Happened to be that this Kudo, the Kudo of the owner of the children's place, is one of the best eyes doctor in the United States. He's in New Jersey, he had a huge office, and he's an eyes doctor. And he was another Syrian Jew, Syrian doctor, that was also very good in Brooklyn, in Coney Island. And I went over there. The guy told me, bring your father here. One condition, take him into Bar Ilan. Bar Ilan is the biggest university in Israel, very well known. Take him into Bar Ilan. I have a friend over there. He's also eye doctor. He's going to tell them to make checkup on your father. If he said that we can fix it, bring him over, we're going to fix it. Money when organized, the community said, Rabbi, any money. 25, 50, whatever, you know, the Syrian, they know how to give it. He said, Rabbi, any money you want, the money is covered. Bring your father, the surgery, nothing is included in an insurance, because no insurance. He's not even American. They said, we cover everything. Okay. I brought my father. I told the doctor, you have open check. You write the price. If you fix the eyes of my father, any price you want. You said, Rabbi, you're pretty generous. I said, yes, my community give me approval, don't worry. Open check, open check. Get wide. Yeah, no. After that, you go on vacation with your wife. 1 month for vacation. Don't worry. On my account. I said, okay. I brought my father here. He checked them. He need my father to come here. The second condition, he went over there. He made the checkup in Bar Ilan. The second condition is for 3 months. 2 weeks to make the surgery, and 2.5 months to stay to make sure that the eyes is working. Done deal. My father came here, and he went into the surgery. He checked him. When he checked him, he said, Houston, we have a problem. The eyes is dead. No way that you can fix it. I went into the kudo, the kudo of the owner. I said, Rabbi, the eyes is dead. Who told you to bring him here? Now my father had a ticket for 3 months. So he had to stay here for 3 months. We got stuck. No surgery, no nothing. My father went in from Israel telling all his friends in the whole community, I'm going in, I'm going to come to see, I'm going to have a vision, I'm going to... You know, in his age, 75 years old. He was 70 years old at that time. He's big disappointed to come back.
Yeah.
With the same... You know what the embarrassment is that? I was very, very upset with the doctor. Everybody know me for 10 years. It's very rare to see me upset. I was very upset. Wow, disappointed, upset, don't ask. I remember, wow, it was a few months that I was fuming. I said, wow, why? Why did he have to bring my father? 2 years later, when my father passed away, every year in Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, I'm calling to the doctor to say thank you. One time I even came to him and gave him a gift. I said, doctor, he said, Rabbi Vaknin, why are you so nice to me? I disappoint you so bad. I saw in your face that you're... I didn't talk when I'm upset. I'm not talking. By the way, it's a good tip for Shalom Bait. When your wife is making cocoa, don't talk. That's it. Don't say things that after that you're going to regret for the next 20 years. Just don't talk. Be quiet. And you know what's funny? When you're quiet, your wife is upset with you. Why are you quiet? Why are you doing this, man? Say thank you, is quiet. Every woman have the same nonsense. Why are you screaming? Now when you answer it, you see, why you answer, why you... So what do you want me to do? You want me to answer or you want me to be quiet? When I'm getting upset, very rare, you know that? I'm quiet. I'm not talking. I'm not talking completely. Now I spoke, I was quiet. He said, I saw that you... He said, doctor, you don't understand. In that time, my father saw in one eye, and we spent with them times together. The only time that I saw my father for almost 15 or 18 years, when he was healthy, so to speak, and I spent time with him, it was in this 3 months. After that, I saw him in the hospital. And from the time that I went to the hospital until he died, I was in the hospital. 8 months with the sickness, chemo treatment, and then diabetes and balagan. But the only time that I saw him normal and I spent time and we spoke an hours after being stuck here for 14 years because of immigration people. I didn't see my parents for 14 years. You don't understand. This doctor made me such a favor. I told him thank you. But what's the problem? We don't have patience. We don't have patience. Why bad things happen to good people? Why did my father? After that you realize, wow, it was the best thing that this doctor did. Because of him, I enjoyed. You don't understand. You just have to have patience in life. Yaakovin, why are you upset? Why are you upset? What do you thought? You thought that God is wrong? You thought that your son disappeared for no reason? That God will ever let you down? Yosef is happy. He's happy. Menuchat nefesh. What a depth. What a message. The second story. I went in with my legs. Anyone here remember? I had issue with my legs. One time I went in and they took the nails. Whatever. I'm not going to get to details. We already know the story. I will make it short. But I went to the hospital. And I didn't understand why my legs become big and violent. And then in the hospital they told me, Rabbi Vaknin, the sugar is not high, sky high. It's ballistic high. Diabetes, Houston, we have a problem. I said, thank God I came to the hospital. Because not for no reason they call diabetes silent death. They have a debate among doctors which sickness is the worst. The sickness that we don't mention the names, chemo treatment, catering, strong catering, or diabetes. By the way, most of the doctors claim that diabetes is much worse. You know why? Because until you figure out that you have diabetes, it's too late. See, usually the sickness, most of the people that you will never have none of them, you realize that in the first stage. Most of the people, diabetes, they call it the silent death. It's in your body and you don't feel nothing. And you eat oshpelon, osevo, chatusevo, balagan. You eat food processors, you eat and you're smiling and ice cream and cakes and Baruch Hashem. And you don't realize, and you can see and you can walk. And then one day you wake up. Because of this doctor that made the damage to my nails, I realized that I have to be careful because of diabetes. I called the doctors and I told them, thank you for making me all this balagan. He made huge balagan in my life. Huge balagan. and because of his mistakes, from a good heart, by the way, from a good intention, he came really, he's one of the community, he came from a good intention, he wanted to do to the rabbi a favor, and I told him, you really made me a favor. Because now I put something, I checked my sugar, I'm always under, I'm trying to be, again, I have to get much better right now. My wife said, you have to get much better. I see you at 2 o'clock in the morning. I see you at 2 o'clock. Study in another ice cream, another cake. I see you. You know, I remember every time I see my wife, I remember Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur is arriving. Somebody is watching. Somebody. The Almighty God, I know, Moses Shabbat. The eyes is always open. She put camera all over the house. I'm trying to get, she's calling me, I can see you in camera number 3. Please, let my people go. Let me leave, please. If this is so, having a menuchat nefesh, what do you need to have, Doctor? And how do you get peace of mind? Faith in God. And when you are having a faith, you will never get upset in the business. You will never get upset if the deal didn't work out. You will never get upset because the stock went down or the stock went up. You will never get upset or nothing. Because everything that happened in your life, something good is coming out from it. Just have a little patience. It's yatzvu u're'u yishrat Hashem. If this is so, we're going to move into the second message. And the second message, the first message is having a faith. And the faith is the most important. The second message is, gentlemen, ladies, the most important things in a relationship is to remember. Akarat atov. Appreciation. Appreciation is the second message of tonight. How many of us, after hearing me so many times, tell your wife or your husband every day thank you for the food that you just made? Every day and night you're coming in, Moshe is still newlywed. They still say thank you in this year. And this year they're still romantic, they still say thank you. They still open the door, they still send flowers. The 4th year, don't be judged now. I'm not going to judge you now. Let's see 5 years from now, how are you going to talk? Now you see, Be'ezrat Hashem, Moshe, that you're going to say the same. You're a good man, Moshe, you're a good man. Your heart is pure and you, Mazal, באמת, you had a Mazal. You had a Mazal to take Mazal and she had a Mazal. There's Mazal. I approve this message. Sponsored by Rabbi Vaknin. Moshe is a good man. He's a good man, no doubt. But Abadanov, you know what we need? You know what we need? To say loud and clear, thank you. Thank you for the things that I said. I don't take lightly this class. Okay, every week, Baruch Hashem, B'nai Rise Hall is a full house. I still don't take it lightly. How did I start every week? Thank you very much for finding the times, the effort and the money to find 1 hour to come to the show. You really extend my life until 120, 1 week at a time. Unreal. How many of us, when a wife one time doesn't cook, you see, I told you the story many times. There was a professor that came into a class and he said to them, I'm going to ask you simple questions. What's the questions? He put like this. What's the questions? He gave one of them a paper and he asked him, what do you see? One question. This is the test. What do you see in this paper? One of them said, he's giving. What do you see? A black dot. A black dot. Everybody wrote in the test, black dot. 100%. 25 students, 25 the same answer. So the doctor said, I don't understand. This paper is 99% white. And suddenly all of you saw the 1% of black. How many times in life we're all the same? Your wife giving you dinner every night for the next 5 years or 10 years, one time she missed? Why? Crisis in the house. Never happened in Bukhara, against tradition. Why you miss? What kind of wife? I don't understand. 99% of the times, you get in your dinner. The house is clean. The children is dressed. Everything is perfect. 99% of the time, your husband come in time. He always behave. One time he came late. And crisis in the house. Maybe we all have to go up a little with the fact of appreciation, akarat atov, to recognize the good things that happen in our life, with our children, with our workers, the people that are working for us, in our business, with our partners, and especially with our spouse, our husband and wife. Gentlemen, how many times your wife told you thank you for paying the rent, paying the tuition, paying the food, and working so hard? How many times?
All the time.
Some, in your case, Baruch Hashem, again, newlywed. All of them have the same answer. Mechila that I have to mention it, but when you're newlywed, we always like this. Thank you, my husband, for working so hard. You're so great. I can feel your pain. And after 1 year, why if you miss one salary, balagan. How come there's no money? I always knew I got stuck. They told me before I got married, he's a loser, he's a lazy boy. They told me that this guy have a bad mazal. What exactly happened? So if I provide you with everything that you need, what exactly changed? Nothing changed. We got used to. We got used to the good things. The second message, maybe this week, each one of us, remember, it's a time for us to wake up. It's a time for all of us to wake up and to say thank you. Thank you for each other. It's a time for you that you're going to leave this class and say, my wife, not only I love you, I really value everything that you do in my life. But Ahmed, thank you for being who you are. Thank you for the fact that you raise our children. Thank you very much for always being there for me. Thank you very much for having the house ready and the food and preparation. And it's the time for you to tell your husband, thank you. Thank you for everything that your husband. Why are we so cheap in appreciation? Rebuke? Fixing? How many times, ladies, during the day you tell your husband where he's wrong? You forgot the key. You don't put the shoes here. Why are you doing here? Why here? Why you didn't put the plate? Why? Maybe 20 to 25 times minimum every day. If you're gonna have a tape, record when you're coming into the house, you're gonna see that minimum 25 comments, and all of them is bad. What you have to fix? What you have to fix? Minimum 25. How many things? In a good case, maybe one. In a good case, maybe one. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the time for all of us to have appreciation, to recognize. Because al kol peshayim techaseh ahava. You know what's mean al kol peshayim techaseh ahava? Al kol peshayim techaseh ahava meaning, for every obstacle in life, love will cover. You know who said? The wisest man in the world history. King Solomon. King Solomon said, when you want to kill bad moment in life, you know what you have to do? Show love. Show appreciation. You don't have to tell your husband what to fix himself. Just tell him how great he is, and he's going to fix himself by himself. You don't have to help him. Just give him a beautiful comment. Give your wife a beautiful comment, and you're going to get anything that you want. Know how to recognize. Know how to have appreciation. Al kol peshayim techaseh ahava. Forever, but if this is so, we're going to move to the last one. What do we see? What do we see? What do we see? What do we see appreciation? You see, Adam Arishon, the first comment that he made was what? Blaming the wife. I don't understand. God gave you a gift, and the first thing that he did is what? Blaming the wife. Some men, they still continue with this tradition. When I told him, why you always blame the wife? It was Adam. Adam starts. We have to follow tradition. This is our tradition. Adam made mistakes. The first thing that he did, blaming the wife. What's the second thing he did? How did he call the wife? What's the name of our woman? What's the name of the first woman in the world? Chava. Do you know why they call her Chava? Em Kol. She is the mother of all creation. After this woman gave you to eat, and because of that, you are dead. This is what you call in your wife? Adam Arishon studied. Said, you know what was my mistakes? That I criticized my wife. How do you fix it? I will give her such a compliment that she will never even imagine. He gave her a name and he said, you are the mother of all creation. You know what a compliment is that? Suddenly Adam Arishon is doing teshuvah. And the teshuvah is to give compliment to your wife. To give compliment to your husband. Because only to compliment our relationship can work. Last but not least, with this I'm going to conclude. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you one question. It's going to be the last question of tonight. Who is the first creation in this world? Adam, right? Who is the first human being that was created? Emmanuel, Adam Arishon, right? That Adam Arishon was perfect? No. Obvious, right? The only creature of God, the only creature that being made by God is Adam. Adam, after that, his wife came apart from the human being. She already came ready from Adam. It was a bones, whatever, side or bones, but it was already exist. And then the children already came from a husband and wife. And then the grandchildren, all of us, we already came from parents. We didn't come direct from God. Adam HaRishon came special and direct from God. And the Pasuk said, "Zeh Sefer Toldot Adam." You know what the Midrash writes? You know what the Zohar writes? Adam HaRishon had his own Sefer Torah. God gave him a whole book. This is your book to study. And you are the only one that allowed to read it. Secret book for all the medicine, for everything that you need. You will never become sick. You're always going to be happy. He had the book how to manage life. And then, he came in which city Adam HaRishon came? Which country? What's the name of the country? Gan Eden. All of us is working that after 120 years, we're going to be in Gan Eden. He came to the world in which? Gan Eden. The best place, the best human being, the only creature of God. Listen to this, what the Gemara said. Rabbi Benah, he was a rabbi by the name Rabbi Benah. He was expert to check each grave. Meaning Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Rabbi Akiva, they didn't know. So he came over there and he told them, here bury Rabbi Akiva. The stone that we have in Rabbi Akiva is because of this rabbi. Here bury Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He came here to Me'arat HaMachpelah. You know what's Me'arat HaMachpelah? Who buried in Me'arat HaMachpelah? Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Adam and Chava. Beautiful. And also the wife. Now, he went in and he saw Abraham Avinu. He saw Yitzchak Avinu. He went in and he's talking to Yaakov Avinu. He came in to see Adam HaRishon. Why? Only the legs, the back of the legs. He came in, he saw the back. You know what the Gemara said? He looked like a side of the sun. You know how big was you know how big is the sun? Huge, right? Huge. Binyamin, the two legs look like two suns. Huge, monster. Adam HaRishon was giant. He was in the size from here to the sun, unreal. Only his legs. And a voice from heaven came. You cannot go inside. Because the image of Adam is like my own image. And nobody can see my image, God said. Wow. The voice came to him and said, no. You can see Yaakov Avinu look like Adam. It's okay. But you cannot see Adam. Because Adam is the image of God. Perfect. Complete. Suddenly, the Pasuk said, לא טוב היות האדם לבדו. אעשינו עזר כנגדו. It's not good for Adam to be alone. He is not good. He is not good because he have no wife. Let's give him a wife. Can you answer me why? Why did Adam HaRishon need a wife? Why that suddenly after being so perfect, creature of God, why did he need a wife? Why we need a wife? We know. We are walking by men, all of us are walking balagans. The wife is the one that makes us normal. She is the one that fixes. She is the one that teaches you how to behave, to eat with manners, to speak with manners, to walk with manners. She is the one that making us human being. Why do you think Abraham got married with Tamar? She wanted to become human being. He was balagan, Arambayu, and now he got married, Baruch Hashem. You can see, wake up in the morning 6 o'clock for shiur, refined human being. He always come with a suit and papillon, ready with tefillin. I said, Abraham, what exactly? I said, Rabbi, I got married. I understand why we get married. But Dr. Daniel, why Adam HaRishon will need a wife? Why? If this is so, I'm going to tell you. Side jokes, just to make you smile. There was one man, he came into his wife and said, my dear wife, I have to tell you, every time I have crisis in the business, I looked at you. I opened my wallet and he said, this is your pictures. Why? She got so excited. She said, wow, what a romantic Anna. She said, I met my wife, my husband, you look at me every time. He said, yes. Every time I have a crisis in my life, I looked in the pictures. He said, what's the reason? He said, it cannot be worse from this. Okay. It was a man that came to the doctor. And the doctor said, Moshe. He said, what? He said, Moshe, your blood and your wife's blood is exactly the same. He said, obvious. After 20 years that she's sucking my blood, definitely we have the same blood. Now we're going to go back. No, just to give you a smile a little, Smile, open the mind, open the brain. Some of you agree. You see my wife, the rabbi said, I'm going to put my picture, your picture in my wallet. Gentlemen, ladies, why? Why Adam HaRishon need a wife?
What's below?
Oh.
For those. I love it. For those below, for the cooking. I will tell you why you're wrong. You know who used to cook to Adam HaRishon? You know who used to cook to him? Angel used to cook the fastest, the best food. You know what when angel, Malach Michael, Malach Raphael, all of them sitting down and they serving you? You don't, the animal used to bend over. They thought that they're talking to God. Everybody's bending. Adam HaRishon is walking, everybody's bending. Unreal, perfect. Why perfect need a wife?
Because it's easy to be good if you everything you have good. It's easy to be good.
It's easy to be good. So you need a little difficult?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you show if you can be better.
I will tell you why.
Make it better or down.
Listen to the answer. If we start with Rabbi Yerucham Mimir, we're going to continue. You remember the first topic that we spoke? I will continue with the same method. Listen to what he writes. Very strong word. Very difficult to hear. שאין לך שחיתות יותר גדולה מזה לקבל ולא לתת. Nothing is more corrupt for being a human being that only receive and never give. If you're only receiver, you're a corrupt human being. You're not so human being. You're not okay. You're not perfect. You're the worst human being that exists in the world history. If your job is what I'm gaining from this relationship, what is good for me, what exactly, if you're a self-centered human being that only accepts to get, you're the worst corrupt human being in the world. You know what's the purpose that we came here? Not to receive, to give. You know why? Adam HaRishon didn't need a wife. God created him a wife that from this moment is going to start to be giver. He's going to start, every time your wife needs clothing, you know, and they always need clothing, and it's never end, every wedding, every event, you know. And I love it when your wife said, I have nothing to wear, some so dramatic, like by match you have nothing to wear, 50 different shoes, and 200 dresses, and still nothing to, I already wear this one. How many times? Once. That's it. This is, they already saw me in the picture with this one. So Baruch Hashem, you become a giver. You become a giver. You become a giver. You wanted a vacation and this and that. Your wife, Baruch Hashem, know how to take, and you have to. And you know, ladies, how did you become a giver? Not only the way that you give your husband, God created children, that now you become a giver. Because you don't sleep at night. And you have to feed them. And you have to change them. And you have to take them to the school. And suddenly you become a giver. The purpose of our life, in order to become a perfect, you cannot be a receiver. Receiver is not perfect. You can be a creature of God. Angel can serve you. You can be huge like the sun. You can be tzaddik and perfect. You're far away from being perfect. You are a corrupt human being. You know what's perfect? Perfect is a person that gives. Perfect is a person. So the first message was what? Having a faith and trust. Having a faith and trust is the only way to make us menuchat and nefesh. Peace of mind. When you have peace of mind, you can have love and respect. The first message. The second message is gratitude, attitude. It's a time for all of us to make attitude of gratitude. Meaning your attitude is not to complain. Your attitude is to give compliment to your spouse, your husband, or your wife. And the last message, and maybe the most important one, the purpose of our life is to give. And to give and to give. To give charity and to give. Not only to give charity, I will tell you something. Guys, maybe you're not going to like it, but you know Rabbi Vaknin always have to be honest. Tell me, can I ask you a question? How many times we spend money to open a Arona Kodesh, to open it? How many times we spend money? Every time we go into the Torah, we spend money, right? Tell me, to buy this opening, Daniel, is the Oraita or the Rabbanan? This from the rabbis or from the Bible?
Rabbis.
Who said rabbis? Who said from the Bible? To buy that and to enjoy it. It's from the rabbi. Gentlemen, it's not from the rabbis and not from the Bibles. I don't know. It came tradition. People like it and they spend money. There's no logic and no source for it. To have Olachat Sefer Torah is nice, is holy, but there's no source of doing it. Why you buy the Sefer Torah and to take it to the Bima? And people spend unlimited money opening the Aron, and Yom Kippur we're going ballistics. Opening the Aron, 3,000 food. And your wife asks you, breakfast. Listen, the breakfast is too expensive, $15. What do you think, I look like a punk? When you come to the synagogue and you spend money like you do tomorrow. And you know that the rabbis that ask you for charity all day long, I look like a punk? You feel good. Rabbi, just make sure to put my name. Put my name. And I'm going to give you 10,000, 20,000, I want to put. And your wife asks you, to help your wife is the writer. It's not from the rabbis. ועזב איש את אביו ואמו וטבק באשתו והיו לבשר אחד. To help your wife, to give your wife, is a mitzvah. It's an obligation. You have to do the Shem Yichud. You have to feel Arizal. You have to go to the mikveh before. You know why it's the writer. But Sefer Torah, everybody respect. We have to buy it, we have to spend money. Your wife. Okay, you don't have nobody else? Ask somebody else to help you. Why do you always asking me? If I will ask you to give the Torah, you will never tell me, give it to somebody else? Rabbi, give it only for me. Ay. This is not the Oraita and not the Rabbanan. Pele Yoetz right. Sefer Torah and everything that involves is respect. But there's no source for it. Not from the rabbis and not from the Bible. To respect your wife, to give your wife, is the Oraita. You fulfilling mitzvah from the Oraita. ושימח את אשתו, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. Ladies, when you're making oshpelot to your husband, don't do it by the way. Don't just cook it. Do it with love. You're doing it, Areni mekabelet. I accepted myself. One of the greatest mitzvot in the Bible. And the name of this mitzvah is loving your fellow Jew. And I came here to make oshpelot to my fellow Jew, my husband. And I will make this mitzvah in the greatest level. Do you hear that? Our purpose is to give. And only when you give, you become perfect. You know why Adam HaRishon need? Because the Gemara said the story that Eliyahu Navi was walking and he saw two rabbis. Both of these rabbis was righteous. Hasidim, righteous. How do you say righteous in English? Pious? Pious Jews. Religious, holy, Kabbalistics, whatever you want. One of them, Eliyahu Navi went to visit, and the other one, Eliyahu Navi didn't visit. So the Gemara said, why? They are both Chavuta. They are both in the same level. Why one of them you visit, one not? Listen to what the Gemara said. Because one of them, every time his worker came. Sometimes you have a maid in the house, a ladies that coming into the house and preparing food for you. First of all, he ate, and then he told the worker, after you finish, take the leftover. And the second one, before he ate, he told the worker, first of all, take food, and whatever left, I will take. And then when he said, oh wow, he is a giver, I'm coming to see him. He's worthy that I'm going to come to him. Now the rabbi, he's good, but he's not a giver. Leftover is not a giver. This guy, this rabbi is a giver? You know what, right? Listen to this. אין דבר שהאדם אוהב יותר מעצמו. Depending on its right. Rules and regulation. Which item in this world you love the most? Moshe, which items? Michael, which items a person loves the most? Himself. All of us. You can tell me, no, I love my children, I love my husband, I love my wife. Yes. Beautiful. But who you love the most? Yourself. Because of that, the challenge of giving is so difficult. You have to work in yourself to put your side, your ego, your need aside in order to give it to the husband, to give it to the wife. If this is so, now we understand that the greatest, how do we say it? Very soon you're going to have babies. Hopefully, Be'ezrat Hashem, Tamara and Avram, let us say amen. This year, Be'ezrat Hashem will have Ben Zachar. Now, Avram, you know why I said Ben Zachar? Because it's good for my topic. No, it's good for the speech. When you have a Ben Zachar, a baby boy, in the breed, what's the blessing that you give the baby boy? What's the blessing? What's the blessing? Do you know what's the blessing that you give a man? What's the blessing when you give a baby? כשם שנכנס לברית. The same way that the baby enter ברית מילה. He will enter תורה. כך ייכנס לתורה. What's תורה? בר מצווה. אין חופה. What's חופה? Wedding. Marriage. Maasim Tovim, good deeds. I will ask you questions. Why are we waiting for good deeds after 20 years? I don't understand. Good deed was supposed to be before. Before, even Bar Mitzvah, you're doing good deed. Why are we saying the same way that you enter to Brit, you're going to enter Torah, you're going to enter Chuppah, then you're going to enter good deeds?
You complete.
The only time that a person is doing good deeds is after he's getting married.
Complete. You complete.
Only after you're getting married.
Odam.
Because to do good deed in the synagogue for 5 minutes and to come to play big shot is easy. But to live with the wife for 24 hours, 7 days a week, to live with the husband 365 days and still to behave and still to do good. Sometimes you don't want to do good. You put this picture in the zen and you make it to be or not to be. Which you want to make a mushpelo? If you're going to make a mushpelo, you're going to put harif, you know, spices, like this. Like the nose. Why? Because he got you upset. No. Good deed is fakert. You know what's fakert? Dafka. In purpose to your husband and your wife. Just opposite. Only deed is considered to be chesed. Chesed is to your husband and wife. And I will end with this one. We start with faith and trust. We moved in to appreciation. And with us, we end with understanding that nothing is more important to be perfect. It's by giving. And giving meaning, charity, start at home. Start to give to your own family. Before you come outside and you give. Give to your wife. Give to your husband. Give to your children. Spend time with your children. That means spend time with your parents. You don't want to be like me and like Yaakov Avinu, that lost his own child, and his child lost them for 23 years, and only after 23 years they saw each other. You have parents that live here. Spend the time with them. As long as they are alive and healthy, spend time with them. They might call another friend, Abba, I want to spend time with you. Take him to a restaurant. Don't be upset and nonsense. Don't let this ego and this right or wrong. I don't care. Don't be sad. Don't be upset. Hashem is running the world. Spend as much time that you can with your children. Enjoy the time for them. Business, not business. Fine on a daily basis. 15, 20, 30 minutes. Even 15 minutes. Guys, I'm not asking you to be tzaddikim. I know you're coming back from home and you're tired. 15 minutes with each child. 15 minutes. You can do it. How many nonsense you watching in the phones? For 2 or 3 hours. Take 1 hour away. I'm not telling you 2 hours, 3 hours. 1 hour away. Spend time with your children. Go and spend 20 minutes on a daily basis with your wife. You and your wife walking around the house and speaking with each other. Build and give and give and give. And the more that you give, the more that you become perfect. Thank you very much.
Honor. No, cheat.
Okay, we're going to do Kaddish. Anyone that wants to stay for a week, please, you're more welcome. Hello. Can you open it? Okay, Arvit, just 1 second.
Что ты так,